Welcome to Life Insurance Today. I'm your guide, Edward Pritchett, joined by Mr. Joe Jordan. Wanted to talk a little bit about the future of our industry right now. I mean, we're coming off of some banner years for the life insurance industry. I was reading here recently that it looks like just for the first 3 quarters of 2021, there was an 18% growth just on the life insurance premium side of things for our industry. And the predictions are that just that for this year here in 2022, we're going to continue to see that grow as well. The industry as a whole on this is life insurance and annuity side, not including PNC and all the other forms that are out there, right? But for the first time ever, surpassed $1 trillion in premiums that flew from clients to carriers. So there's a lot of growth happening, but we all know that that growth might start to slack off or things could potentially fall away. What do you see are some of the key things that we as agents in this business, brokers in this business can do to continue that growth for ourselves and take advantage of the growth that the entire industry is seeing right now?
Well, I think, there's a profound change. I think 5 years from now, we'll talk about this virus and when it hit, you know what I mean? It's like BC and, AD, you know what I mean? It's something that's there. And what that did is got people begin to thinking seriously about their mortality and what would happen. They lost some folks and what have you. So I think that had something to do with change their attitudes. You want to make sure that doesn't slack off as much, that is there. And no, let's face it. If someone told you in January of 2020 what was coming, you figured you'd be out of business, I can't tell you the number of people I spoke to who made the adjustment back in towards the technology. There are some people who were doing Zoom stuff, but for the most part they weren't, and they made that adjustment, and some of them have had the biggest years they've ever had. So this is what I'll tell you. I've been in financial services 46 years, right? Okay, so I was in the high gas prices in the 74s. I was in the high interest rates of the 80s. Okay, I was in the high inflationary periods of 74, through 80s. I lived through all of the ups and downs, the market crash that we had in 87 and the crash we had with the dot-com crash and then 07, 09. But there's something new. Okay, I've never seen this before. It's called demand. Okay, so that's never happened before. So it's like, you need a checkup from the neck up to begin to understand that that's there, and don't let it dissipate. Go and do your stuff, and you can relate stories back to this to the crisis, that we had. And I don't know that this thing's over. We might just have to begin to live with it or what have you. So I think things are on our side. I've said it before. I don't think this disease happened to us. It happened for us. Okay, it forced us into other technologies, and it also created some demand. And from millennials and a lot of other people that happen to be there. And I think over time, what happens is someone, I can do this online and what have you. They do it, but no one tells them not to, not to stop, or they don't give them any direction. So that will play out. I love that commercial, right? You're turning progressive. I think it is. You're going to turn into your parents. They'll get older and they'll do that. So I think it's a question of. So I think it's a good time from a perspective of protection products because people are there, and I think we have to keep that. I think we have to begin to keep that top of mind. So that's something that I think we really should focus on, the lessons that were learned from this pandemic, and go forward from there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've definitely learned a lot as we've gone through this. We've learned how to relate even better, I think, to clients while using technology. We've been able to help them take tech-enabled life insurance, like being able to get quotes or actually even apply, on their own, but then still being there to guide them, as you were saying, through the process and help them navigate, should I do this, should I do that? And I love what you're saying there too, in the sense of, let's not slow down in the face of this demand. Let's step into this, right? Let's use it as a tailwind to continue to move us forward. Any last things you want to share with our audience here as far as what's next? What do we need to be thinking about as insurance agents for the next 5 to 10 years?
I think just understand the evolution of what's been going on and take into consideration, not where the business is now, but where it's going. Trusted relationships are going to be crucial towards it. Getting more women into the business, I think, is important. Serving also, too, underserved markets. Everyone's chasing after the wealthy guys. But I believe it's really life and death when you start going down market. People who will never be rich but don't deserve to be poor, and that's a huge marketplace that's out there, and that's why we have to. From an agent perspective, get younger people and more diverse people, both gender-wise and also racially. I think is important to talk to those particular markets. And I just think that the business, when I was selling in the 70s, it was to get a life insurance policy issued was, and depending upon the size and all of the stuff that you had to go through. So I think technology is a wind on our back. The technology came from a communications point of view, which sped up completely when we had this pandemic happen. And it's a great business. I mean, you impact people, beyond time and space. I can't begin to tell you the stories of people, the widow's getting the check and she can't believe, what happened to her, And I told you the story, I had mentioned that story about the young woman who was attacked, and she had this problem, but she was the sole support of her family and she was able to keep it intact. How do you think she felt about the agent who did that? So I think we got to put in front of us the impact that we have on people as part of it. You got to learn all of this stuff, but I just think it's a dearth of not understanding the impact of the idea of storytelling instead of giving people facts, that you have to get in and people will react to how you make them feel. I talked about it, right? I said, people, they retain 6% of what you said, and you think you're brilliant with the stuff, but they walk away 100% of how you made them feel. And whether you make them feel important or whether you touch their soul or you told them a story that got them thinking about it. You even mentioned it when I mentioned the story. You said, yeah, I felt that a little bit. And you'll remember it. Yeah. That's the whole thing. I mean, I bump into people I've talked to 10 years ago and they remember the stories. I don't remember any of the other stuff I tell them. Yeah. And so we live through that. So what we sometimes think is important is to have all of the facts straight versus how people react to what you're doing and whether or not they feel you're on their side.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think that's one of those things that as we continue to look at our industry right now and that future is to plug into things like what we're doing right here, just sharing these tidbits of knowledge, right, so that you can just get better over time. You can, as you said earlier, it's not just the knowledge, it's behaving your way and plugging into training like this where you can just get this, 5, 7, 10 minutes that can help advance your career so that you can stick around long enough to become the expert, to get to that place where you can help more people out. And then as you grow in this industry, you'll start to see the impact of that and be able to translate that to other agents as they continue to build their organizations and their agencies as well. So I just really appreciate the time that you've taken with us to share these things, and looking forward to a bright future for our industry as we continue to help people. So guys, definitely take a look, follow, go to some of the links that we have there in the bio below, because that's where you're going to be able to dig in and learn even more about how to make your business better, not just in this year, but in the years to come. So I think we may have 1 or 2 more episodes following this. Joe gave me a limited amount of time, so check back for that next one that's coming out. Definitely appreciate you for taking this time with us, Joe. And until next time,